What if one brave girl could change the fate of an entire kingdom? Today we follow Esther, a young maiden who found her courage when her people needed it most. Through palace halls and secret prayers, we'll learn that bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to do what's right, even when your heart trembles.
Hello friends, welcome to Oma's Story Nook Jr., where letters tell stories and every tale is full of wonder.
Long ago, in the land of Persia, a kingdom of shimmering palaces and bustling markets, there lived a young girl named Hadassah. She was Jewish, part of a people who had been carried far from their homeland. Her parents had died when she was small, and her cousin Mordecai had raised her as his own daughter. Hadassah's heart was gentle and steady. She listened when Mordecai read the stories of their people, the courage of Moses, the faith of Abraham, and she wondered what part she would ever play in God's great story. In those days, Persia was ruled by King Xerxes, whose kingdom stretched farther than the eye could imagine. One day, the king held a magnificent feast, but when his first queen disobeyed him, she was cast away. A search began for a new queen, and girls from every corner of the empire were brought to the palace. Among them was Hadassah. Mordecai urged her, "Do not tell anyone you are Jewish, for we do not know the hearts of these people. Be wise. Be watchful." In the palace, the servants gave her a new name, Esther, meaning star, and like a hidden star she shone quietly, with kindness instead of pride, with grace instead of glitter. The king noticed her light, and soon Esther was crowned Queen of Persia. But outside the palace gates, danger brewed. A proud official named Haman despised Mordecai because he refused to bow before him. In anger, Haman convinced the king to sign a decree to destroy all of Mordecai's people. When Mordecai heard this, his heart broke. He tore his clothes and sent a message to Esther. "You must go to the king and plead for our lives." Esther trembled. No one, not even the queen, could go to the king uninvited. To do so was to risk death. Yet, Mordecai's words echoed in her soul. "Perhaps you were made queen for such a time as this." And that is where our story truly begins. In the narrow lanes of Susa, Hadassah's laughter was like sunlight through olive leaves. She helped Mordecai sweep their courtyard, fed the doves, and listened to the old women tell stories of the God who saves. When the king's messengers came, their trumpets echoed through the streets. "All young maidens are to be brought to the palace for the king to choose a new queen." Mothers gasped, fathers fretted. Mordecai's hands shook as he packed Hadassah's small bundle. "Remember who you are," he whispered, "even in gold robes. Never forget the heart beneath them." In the palace, silk curtains billowed like clouds. The air smelled of rose oil and cinnamon. The girls learned to bow, to walk, to smile. But Esther's kindness outshone them all. She shared her food with servants, spoke gently to those who were afraid, and thanked every hand that helped her. When the king met her, something in her quiet eyes stilled his restless heart. "This one," he said, "this one shall be queen." A crown was set upon her head, and cheers rolled through the palace like thunder. But in her heart, Esther whispered a prayer. "Lord, help me remember you." Life in the palace was glittering, but lonely. Esther moved through jeweled halls, smiling when the king smiled, bowing when nobles passed. Only Mordecai's messages at the gate reminded her of home. One day, Mordecai uncovered a plot. 2 palace guards planned to harm the king. He told Esther, and she quietly warned the king, giving credit to Mordecai. The plot was stopped, the king's life saved, but the act was soon forgotten. Then came Haman. He was rich, clever, and cruel. When Mordecai refused to bow before him, Haman's pride burned like fire. "If one man disobeys me, I'll punish his entire people," he hissed. He convinced the king to sign a decree. On one dark day, all Jews were to be destroyed. Throughout the city, fear spread like smoke. Mordecai put on sackcloth and ashes, crying out at the palace gate. Servants ran to tell Esther, and her hands trembled as she read his words. "Go to the king. Beg for mercy." "But he hasn't called for me in 30 days, she whispered. "If I go without being summoned, I could die." Mordecai's reply cut through her fear. "If you keep silent now, deliverance will come from another place. But who knows? Perhaps you were made queen for such a time as this." Esther closed her eyes. Such a time as this. She took a deep breath and sent her reply. "Gather the people. Fast and pray for 3 days. I and my maids will fast too. Then I will go to the king, and if I perish, I perish." The palace that once glimmered with music now felt like a tomb. For 3 days, Esther ate nothing. She knelt by her window, whispering prayers into the starlit silence. When the 3rd morning came, she rose. Her maids dressed her in royal robes of deep blue. She touched the crown on her head and whispered, "Be brave, heart." She walked toward the throne room. Guards lowered their eyes. The great golden doors creaked open. Inside, King Xerxes sat upon his throne, surrounded by soldiers and courtiers. No one spoke. The law said, if the king did not raise his golden scepter to an uninvited guest, that person would be killed. Every step echoed like thunder. Esther stopped, bowed, and waited. 1 heartbeat. 2. 3. The king's eyes softened. He lifted the scepter. "My queen," he said, "what troubles you? Even half the kingdom I would give to you." Esther's voice was steady, though her knees trembled. "If it pleases the king, come with Haman tomorrow to a banquet I have prepared." The next day, at the banquet, she spoke again. "Come once more tomorrow, and I will tell you what is in my heart." That night, Haman built a gallows to hang Mordecai. But the king could not sleep. He asked for the royal records to be read, and there it was. "Mordecai once saved your life. Was he ever rewarded?" the king asked. "No, my lord." "Then honor him at once," the king ordered. And the next morning, to Haman's horror, he had to parade Mordecai through the streets, shouting, "This is what the king does for the man he delights to honor." The next day, the banquet glowed with golden light. Esther sat between the king and Haman, her heart steady now. The king smiled. "Now, my queen, tell me your request." Esther looked at him, then at Haman, and spoke. "My king, there is a man who seeks to destroy me and my people." The room went still. "Who would dare?" the king demanded. Esther pointed gently. "This enemy. Is Haman." Haman's face drained of color. The king rose in fury. "What?" He stormed out into the garden. When he returned, Haman had fallen before Esther, begging for mercy. The king's eyes blazed. "Guards, take him!" That very day, Haman was hanged on the gallows he had built for Mordecai. The king signed a new decree. the Jews could defend themselves, and their enemies would fall before them. The city erupted in celebration. Mordecai was promoted, clothed in royal garments of blue and white. And Queen Esther? She became a legend of light in dark times, a voice that turned fear into faith. And so, the girl called Hadassa became the queen who saved her people. Her story reminds us that courage doesn't roar. It whispers, "I will do it anyway." When you feel small, remember Esther, a hidden star who shone when the world needed light most. Because sometimes, the moment that scares you the most is the very moment God chose for you to shine.
Thanks for watching, friends. We had fun today. Subscribe, like, and comment.
Hey there! Stocking up for the holidays? Find our Christmas and Thanksgiving activity books, plus affirmation diaries, journals, and Kamsi's adventures. Perfect for cozy family time. Scan the code right now to check out all our Amazon titles.